Hello everybody, this is Evan Rogers coming at you with some JLPT N4 grammar. We are on number 12 of this JLPT practice test, and I would like to remind you that everything I do is funded by you guys. The best way to help me out is to simply share it and let everybody know that I exist. That way the word will spread that somebody is actually teaching grammar in a very structured format. Furthermore, you can make donations and join Patreon Subscribestar for added benefits. Thank you very much for those of you who are doing that, and I appreciate it greatly. That's all I'll say. All the links are in the description, and we will get started. Here we are, number 12. This is read Senshu, so if you don't know how to read that, if you do not know how to read that, you need to know how to read that kanji. Senshu. Senshu. Niwa no ki no edo o kirimashita. Oh my goodness, this guy. Senshu last week. Niwa. Niwa is one of those weird words that's like garden, but also is kind of like your yard. It's some weird Japanese word. It's like a garden / yard. The word for yard, like your grass yard, like you're gonna mow the lawn. Maybe the better word is the lawn. The lawn is shibafu, but like kind of like your yard is kind of like a niwa for you Americans out there. Anyway, niwa no ki, a tree in the garden, and it's not just the ki, it's the ki no eda, it's the branch, or yeah, the branch, some sort of a stick of the tree in the yard is probably the best way to translate this. Last week I cut the branch of a tree in the garden. Zenbu blank 2時間かかりました. Again, if you can't read these kanji, these are JLPT N5 kanjis. I think even Kidu is an N5 kanji, but they're giving it to you for the future notice in case, they're being generous to you is what I'm trying to say, but my brain is not working. I have 2 children and they absorb a lot of my time. If you don't know these, I do have a kanji packet that's available through Patreon and Subscribestar. Last time I talked about that. Okay, so zenbu blank 2時間かかりました. Okay, かかりました means it takes time, and then the 2時間 is how much time. It took 2 hours. Notice it's past tense. Took 2 hours. And zenbu. So we have this word zenbu that's kind of like all together or everything. And so that basically what we're probably trying to say is, and all of our options are kiru related. Cut, 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 cut. All of these are real forms of kiru that can, well, I'm probably talking too loud. I'm not used to the new microphone. Sorry if it's deafening or if it's too quiet. All of these are forms of kiru that can exist in at least different grammatical structures, but only one of them really works well here. Okay, so, but what we're probably trying to say is cutting these branches, all of it, or all of them, or whatever he did, the cutting of the branches all together, it's kind of what the zenbu's doing, took 2 hours. And I want to emphasize what I just said, the cutting of the branches all together. And I think that's actually the more, or possibly the most literal translation of this sentence. So let's get into that. We have the cutting of the branches all together. The all together is right here, and it functions like an adverb to the verb kiru. All right, let's talk about all of these options, okay? Let's just go with number 4, kiru ka douka. This is how we say whether or not. And if you look at it, If you look at this, I feel like this is a great argument that when you ask a question in Japanese, the ka particle isn't, I mean, it is a question marker, but it's almost like you're just saying or at the end of a sentence. For example, if I say, I will go to school, 明日学校に行きます, and I make it a question, 明日学校に行きますか? It's almost like we're saying, tomorrow you'll go to school, or will you? Kind of a thing happening. And the reason why I'm saying all of this long-winded goobly-boobly is because notice how we have kiru, ka, and then it goes into a noun, do, or a noun-like word, douka. And it translates to whether you will cut it or not, and whether you will cut it or not, or whether you will or not. And I really feel like that idea of or is very strong here. The cutting or what or how is kind of what's happening here. And anyway, I feel like that's interesting that ka functions like a question mark, but also very similarly to the o particle. In fact, between nouns, it is like the word or in English. Okay, so this is not what we're trying to say. Whether or not I cut it took altogether. Whether or not I cut it took 2 hours. That's not a sentence. Okay, so let's randomly go to number 1. Kittari. Kittari is when you make a list of verbs and you're trying to say that you did things like this and you did other things like this, and you know, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what this kittari means. And I'm saying too much again, aren't I? Excuse me. Please forgive my ums. As I slowly wake up making these videos, the ums will go away. Okay, so kittari, if you notice this is very similar to kittara, which is a conditional. Just be careful. Kittara, conditional if or when. Kittari is doing things like this, and I did things like that, and I did things like that. For anybody out there who likes Futurama, the scene where Zoidberg and Fry are fighting over the scuttlefish in the Kripla, and they ask her, the lady, what she did, and she goes, I ate a piece of toast, and I did da-da-da-da. That's kind of like the Tari form. For all you Futurama, I'll try to add an image of it here so you can refresh your memories. It's been a while. But then again, like, all of my viewers are 25 to 35-year-old men. So any non-25 to 35-year-old men out there watching my videos, let me know, okay? Because you are an outlier. Okay, so kittari is kind of like doing things like this. Usually you're going to see more than one tari ending, followed by a suru. But here, I did things like cutting it all together. It took 2 hours. That's not a sentence we're trying to make. Okay, kiru no ni. Earlier you heard me say that I really feel like the cutting of it all, or the cutting of it all togetherly, or something like that, took 2 hours. And I said that's probably the most literal, best translation. And indeed, this is why. We have kiru, which is a verb, followed by a no, which is sort of like the fact of cutting it, the action of cutting it. So this nominalizes it. This turns it into a noun. Get used to that word, okay? Now that you're in JLPT N4, you need to know that word, nominalization. That's a fancy linguistics term for turns into a noun. Or that's basically generally what it means. I'm sure there might be a little bit more nuance to it than that, but that's basically what the word nominalize. Notice the word nominal sounds very similar to noun. Noun. Anyway, kiru no, so the act of cutting. And the way that we nominalize verbs in English is we say we add ing to the regular old form of the verb. So I cut cheese. I like cutting cheese. So notice how when we say I like cutting cheese almost feels like an action, but it's like a thing that I like. I like cheese, I like cutting cheese, I like punching people in the face. It feels like a noun. Punching him in the face is fun. Notice punching is fun. X is fun, it's usually noun. So that's what this no is doing. It's like the ing. So cutting, I need to get rid of that black box. Somebody help me out. Kiru no, and then this ni that comes after it is sort of so the ni particle in Japanese is the most annoying particle because it has a trizillion English translations, and all of those translations are difficult for the Japanese people to learn when they're learning English, and it's very difficult for English speakers to get used to focusing all of these words into one single particle. Here it's functioning like to do that, in order to do that. So here the ni particle is functioning like in order to do the cutting, and then we have all. in order to do, and we have to understand that the word to do is here because it's a verb, okay? So in order to do all of the cutting, and then we have all of is the zenbu. So in order to do, ni, well, ni and the ru, in order to do all of the cutting, and then the all comes from zenbu, 2時間かかりました. It took 2 hours. Okay, so the correct answer is number 2, and we still have to look at 3. Kiri ni, sorry, one more thing about number 2. No ni together frequently means but. Maybe I'll flash an image of a but there. However, but usually no ni can be a but you have to be careful that it is it can also mean in order to do the thing or for doing the thing, for doing the action. Okay, sorry. Number 3. Kiri, the stem of a verb, is usually considered just a noun, which is confusing because here we nominalize a verb, but this is just like a noun in name only. It doesn't actually have a meaning. In fact, sometimes it's a te form. Sometimes the stem is the te form. Anyway, kiri ni, this is used for something like I went to cut, like kiri ni ikimashita, I went to Spain in order to cut something. And there we have the in order to idea again. So if you think like I go to school to learn, 学校へ習いに行きます. 習いに行きます. I go to school for the purpose of or in order to learn. And with my little double translation there, for the purpose of / in order to, we can see how ni can be both for and to. And indeed, the translation of ni is sometimes for, and it is sometimes to. And the reason for that is actually that for and to mean the same thing, just one has verbs after it, another one has nouns after it. So anyway, just be aware that for and to are both ni. In order to and for the purpose of. That being said, I am rambling on. So please, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, let me know why you hate it. I got some guy the other day who cursed me out basically in Japanese. He had like 9 paragraphs telling me how bad I was. So that's fine. I told him I was going to make a video out of his horribly negative comments, and then he immediately deleted them. And I didn't save the comments. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't save the comments. I wanted to, but I screwed up. That would have been really fun. Everyone would have. Anyway, leave a comment. Even if you hate me, even if you like me, even if you're meh, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Have yourselves a happy dappy day. This is the new mic. It is a Blue Yeti. This is like a popular one amongst podcasters and YouTube people. So if you like this one better than the last one, let me know too. It was expensive. My son broke the last one when he was goofing off when I was holding him. So anyway, Blue Yeti doesn't pay me. Have a great day. Peace out, guys. And let's sing Vampirina.
We can sing Booty Vampirina.
You want to sing Booty Vampirina? What's that song? We're living the scream.
Whoa, Vampirina, I can make zoo. Vampirina.
Maybe blue with pointy teeth.
Me blue is pointy teeth.